up, guys? Robert here. I got a new guitar to show you guys today, and this is one that I've really been waiting to demo. And my YouTube handle name is BC Rich Guitar Dude, and I mentioned several videos back that BC Rich are one of, if not probably my favorite guitar company. When this guitar came out, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, both me and my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, saw this thing hanging on the wall at Guitar Center. This is when I was still at Guitar Center. And, when we first got this thing in, and I pointed it out to her, and I thought it was the coolest looking thing that I'd ever seen, and she thought it was the coolest looking thing she'd ever seen. So we were, I waited, I was patient, I waited some more, and, finally the right deal came along, and a fantastic deal came along, and here it is. So, BC Rich started in 1969. And we're basically the pioneers of the neck-through construction on guitars. Gibson was doing the set neck stuff, but even though you can't see it on this guitar because it's painted, but BC Rich were really kind of the pioneers of the neck-through construction, where the neck and the body really are all one solid piece, and the neck will actually run all the way down through the length of the body, and it's all. Like I said, it's all built together as one solid piece of wood. The end result being, tone-wise, you tend to get a little bit more sustain out of it. I've heard some guys say that they think it produces a little bit warmer tone. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that I agree or disagree with that, but we regardless, this is a smoking guitar, and. Of course, BC Rich has gone on to create models such as the Warlock, and which is what this is. We got the Warlock, the Mockingbird, the Bitch. Lots and lots of different oddball shaped guitars, and that's kind of where they carved their niche out. So what we have here. This is the Joey Jordison Signature Warlock, and there's actually two versions of this guitar. There's this one, and this is the higher end of the two. It's got the original Floyd Rose 1000. It does have a real Floyd Rose 1000 tremolo system on it. EMG, active EMG, 8185 pickups, neck through construction, as I stated a moment ago. No fret markers on the fretboard except for the 12th fret inlay, and I'll explain that here in a second. Ebony fretboard, and I believe NATO mahogany, which is essentially Eastern mahogany from overseas, neck and body, and of course Grover tuners and locking nut to boot, etc., etc. So pretty much a full-blown shred machine, if you will. Not a whole lot in the way of controls. Single volume knob, 3-way toggle switch, and and that's about it. It's front, middle, back, and volume, and that's it. No additional tone knobs or anything like that. So it's pretty straightforward. If you're familiar with Joey Jordison, he was the drummer for Slipknot, but he also had a side band called the Murder Dolls, and that side project he actually played guitar in that band, and I don't know if they're still active or not, to be honest with you, but this is his signature guitar from the Murder Dolls, and that logo right there is the Murder Dolls logo. It's also got a cool funky logo there on the back side of the neck. So smoking guitar, I love this guitar. This is one that I'd had my eye on for a while, and I really wanted, and just never got around to buying it. Finally the day came, and here it is. So let's see what this thing sounds like. I got it tuned down. It's tuned down standard, a whole step, and this is of course, once again plugged into the PV6505 Plus combo, with the direct out going into the Tascam DR40, and I also have a Sterling Audio ST51 condenser mic as a room mic that's also going into the DR40. So let's see how this thing sounds. have it, folks. Killer guitar. If I were going to have one complaint about this guitar, it's that the frets are a little bit on the fat side for my taste. A lot of guys prefer the metal guys especially. A lot of metal guys really seem to prefer the big jumbo frets. I'm a smaller vintage fret Eddie Van Halen fret size type of guy. I generally prefer the smaller frets. That being said, certainly not a deal breaker for me. For a guitar this cool, I'll deal with it. So, if I have it long enough that I wear out the frets enough, I can either grind, file them down and make them smaller, or maybe it'll need to be refretted at some point. In which case then I can change it then. So, very, 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 very minor detail. Build quality in this guitar is fantastic. Which is another thing I really, really like about BC Rich guitars. Hopefully the guys on the BC Rich Junkies forum, I know all those guys will agree with me on that. BC Rich's quality is, generally across every one of their price points. I think their build quality is comparable to any of their competitors on the market any day of the week. And this guitar runs. This guitar, and make sure don't confuse this guitar with the lower end version of it, which also is not a bad guitar for the money. But this guitar runs about runs I think $10.99 right now. $10.99 mat price, $1,000 to $1,100 depending on where you go. Guitar Center had them for a long time, like I said earlier, and they ended up, I think they clearanced them out, which is one reason why I got as good of a deal on this one that I did. But they clearanced them out. I don't think they stock them anymore. So, but if you were to order one, I do believe BC Rich still has them in production. Plan to pay about $1,000 to $1,100 for it. Korean-made instrument. But to be honest with you, I think it's built well enough. If it didn't say made in Korea, you would assume made in Japan. Because again, I just think it's built that well. And this one's not an overly heavy guitar. It's it's not a lightweight thing either. But it's a very perfectly balanced guitar for for my taste. So if you're looking for a if you're not a metal guy, and if you're not a metal guy and you're watching, I have no idea why you're watching this, to be honest with you. But if you're not a metal guy, and you might not be familiar with BC Rich's quality. If you are a metal player and you are familiar with BC Rich, go check one of these out. Like I said, they run about $1,000 to $1,100, brand new. You can pick them up used right now for about the $600 range. So 6 to, I've seen them as low as 6. Some guys, I've seen some out there that people are trying to get, still trying to get 8 for it, which is probably about the top end of the used market, in my opinion. So, great guitar. Go check them out, and please leave me your comments below. Let me know if you have any, any questions. I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. And one last thing, like I've mentioned twice, and I keep forgetting to elaborate on it. Don't confuse this guitar with the lower end, with the the Joey Jordison Warlock 2. That's the lower end version, which again is a great guitar. The differences between the two are the more inexpensive version is a bolt-on neck, and the two biggest differences anyway are a bolt-on neck, rosewood fretboard instead of ebony, I believe, and that one actually has BC Rich proprietary passive pickups as opposed to EMG actives. So the electronics are a little bit lower end, and again it's a bolt-on neck as opposed to a neck through. So do with that what you will. But I do think they still got a somewhat about the same finish on it, so it still looks really, really cool. So like I said, keep on keep watching. Let me know if you have any comments, questions. I'll make sure and leave the specs of this guitar in the description below, as well as a link to BC Rich's website. And thanks for watching.